Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be talking about Dragon's Dogma 2. I have formulated an opinion of this. I'm about 20 hours into the game at this point, and I think that I've seen everything that I need to see in order to make a review about this game. So, just a brief overview of Dragon's Dogma 2, for those of you who don't know, is an RPG game focusing on a specific character that's touched by a godlike dragon character who becomes the Arisen, is what it's called. There's only one of them. You can only have one of them. You're the chosen one. It's the typical chosen one RPG story. The first one was fantastic and beloved by fans all over, including myself. And this is a sequel to that, taking place far in the future. So, I'm just going to jump right into it and start by saying, yes, there is microtransactions that were added to this game. And yes, on day one on launch, there was extremely bad performance problems for the PC port of the game. It was borderline completely unplayable, like crash every 5 seconds kind of situation. However, they did release a patch after that, and I've had no issues playing the game at all since then. I'm playing on PC as well, for those who are curious. And on top of that, the microtransaction aspect of the game, I have not even thought about looking at it because it's just completely worthless. Like, you're buying things that aren't worth anything. Let me put it to you this way. It doesn't improve the game to purchase any of these things. It doesn't make you stronger. It doesn't make you faster. It doesn't make you better. They just are there. I don't really know what the issue with everyone with the microtransactions is. Like, I could see if in the future it progressed to where all single player games just had microtransactions, and in order to really play the game you had to buy the microtransactions. But quite frankly, at this point, they're like, to me, it's the equivalent of complaining about being able to purchase cosmetics in a game, because that's how important the microtransactions in Dragon's Dogma are. But anyway, now that we've addressed the two major points of contention that I see people talk about, I'm going to talk about the actual game itself. So let's start by talking a little bit about some of the gameplay elements of Dragon's Dogma 2. It's exactly what you would have expected from a Dragon's Dogma game. You can climb on monsters, cut them up, beat them up. You have vocations. Everybody gets to pick their job and things like that. And overall, it has a very robust combat experience with the pawn system. So in this game, you have a system called pawns, where you have like partners, like an AI controlled team. And you can have a 4-person party with you and 3 pawns. Each of the pawns can access the vocations. You can choose vocations from the pawns, things like this. You can recruit other people's pawns from the Rift system. That was the same way in Dragon's Dogma 1. And it just provides a really fun and interesting and creative way of solving different conflicts in the game. Like, you want to fight this specific enemy? Okay, well, maybe it'll be better for me to bring 2 archers and a warrior this time with me, instead of just have you, who is like in a Skyrim style RPG, for example, you're just an automatic killing machine bulldozing through the entire landscape in the game. Instead of that, they actually provide you with, I compare it to the paradigm system from some games, where you have to have certain jobs and for certain characters in your party, and it gives you like special synergies, stuff like that, and it makes it easier to take on certain types of enemies. I see that very similarly to what they tried to do here with Dragon's Dogma 2. But again, that's very standard for the Dragon's Dogma series. They didn't really reinvent the wheel on this one, I feel, but it is still a good experience. I do enjoy interacting with the combat. I find that it's pretty fun. However, now we're going to get into something that I think is just so awful in this game. There is so much running around doing fucking nothing. You just run around all the time. You will get a mission in one place. Okay, go to this other place and talk to some random dickhead. It takes you 20 minutes to run to that place. Then you talk to the guy real quick. Oh, wow, that's amazing. You have to do something real quick. And then you travel 20 minutes back to the place where you originally started. And that feels overall like what most of the game consists of, is just running back and forth between point A and point B. Wait, you mean to tell me that after all that, I'm now expected to literally run all the way to fuck back the exact same path? That's a little fucked up. And I will say, there's tons of enemies on the way when you're running back and forth, but it's the same enemy over and over and over again. It is extremely repetitive, the enemy variety in this game. I understand that you're not going to get a new enemy every 5 feet that you walk in a game like this, but at the same time, I have been ambushed by goblins every 5 feet that I've walked, enough to the point where it has begun to frustrate me. It's just annoying at a certain point. Like, for example, last night, I was fighting one of the drakes, one of the bigger dragons, and over and over and over again, goblins were just coming out of the woodwork for no fucking reason when I'm in the middle of fighting this dragon, and it's just driving me nuts, and I'm just like, yo, where are all these goblins coming from? It was just so annoying to fight these goblins over and over and over again. And it's just, they're so fucking annoying. They're just not fun to fight. They're easy to kill, don't get me wrong, but they're just a total nuisance to society. It drives me nuts. I hate them. I hate the goblins. We do not like goblins around here. Thumbs down goblins. I've seen enough of them in this game, and they just keep throwing more and more and more of them at me. And then there's wolves. You get wolves and goblins, and that's about it, from what I can tell so far. And then every now and then they'll mix it up by giving you like a cyclops, a griffin, or a troll to fight, or a big dog. And there's your enemy variety for the most part thrown out there. Oh, and random bandits. But whatever. Very, very, very bog standard enemy variety, and very frustrating enemy variety as well, because they're not fun encounters. The fun encounters are with the big monsters, you know what I mean, where you have to like figure out how to kill this motherfucker. But with the goblins, you just cut them up a little and then you're done. That's kind of it. There's not much to it. It's like every time you encounter goblins, you're just thinking about how what is the most efficient way I can speedrun this so that I can continue the part of the game that I like. And it's just not pleasant to experience a game where that's all that you're doing, is just fighting goblins and walking back and forth over and over and over again in the same landscapes over and over and over again. It's just not fun. It's not inviting. It's not interesting. It just isn't. And then another thing that I want to talk about here is the reward mechanics in the game. So in most games, when you find a treasure chest, there's something cool in the fucking treasure chest. In Dragon Dogma 2, however, you will receive none of those rewards at all. You will only receive frustration and strife, because there is a treasure chest every 2 feet, no matter where you are. And every single one of them has a completely worthless item in it. You're either getting a fruit roberant or some gold. And for those of you who don't know, a fruit roberant is a basic healing item in the game. Wanted to show me where these 2 little treasure chests. Alright. Pretty worthless, Metro Man, but whatever. Dude, I wish that there were fewer chests, but they had stuff that was more valuable. There has been multiple times where I'm walking past a chest, right? And one of my pawns goes, "Hey, there's a treasure chest over here, haha." And I legitimately think it's not even worth going over there and picking up the chest. I gotta finish the walking simulator part of this game. This is driving me crazy. So I think that the reward mechanics are a little twisted here, because they just are not actually rewarding you for finding treasure chests. So my suggestion would be less treasure chests. Like, I'm talking 10 times less treasure chests. Divide that shit by 10 and make the shit in them actually worth finding. Because every time I've opened a chest in the game so far, I have felt like, man, that was so crazy. Woohoo! Yay! That's so fun. I got 5 gold. This is phenomenal. Why did I do this? Why did I come here? And then on top of that, I also don't really feel rewarded when I complete things like side quests, or honestly even the main quest. They don't really give you a whole lot in the way of rewards, which leads into my next point. The side quest variety in this game is not good. I have completed every single side quest that I have come across at this point, and I gotta tell you, there ain't a whole hell of a lot of them. There's not a lot of side quests in this game. There just is not. Good, bad, or indifferent. It really restricts the feel of the cities. So in a lot of games, something that I like and appreciate is when the side quests, the unique side quests of different cities, they give it like a different feel, you know, like you're in that city's culture. The city is alive. Different things are happening in the city. Stuff is actually going on. It's thriving. It's alive. It's blossoming. It's blooming. But in Dragon's Dogma 2, you might get 1, maybe 2 side quests in each major city. And it's just kind of like, at least so far, maybe more open up in the future. Like I said, I haven't finished the game, but it just feels like there's no actual variety between the cities. They're all just dead lumps of buildings. They just are not appealing. They don't draw you in. There's no character to the different locations in the game. The only one that I can think of is one where you save the town from like a group of Saurians or whatever, and they slowly rebuild it. There's a little bit of a storyline there that makes you feel like, oh wow, this place is alive. But the city sucks and you almost never go there. There's not even a weapon shop in the place. So it's just like, why would you ever go and visit there to begin with? There's very little point in interacting with hardly anybody, and it makes the cities feel empty and cold and dead and samey. And it's just not fun. Like, if you go to City A, you're going to get the same exact stuff that you go City B. It's the same goddamn place, practically. Like, you'll go to City A, oh my god, little Jimmy's been dragged off by wolves, go save him. And then you'll go to City B, oh my god, little Jimmy's been captured by goblins. That's different. Please go save him. And his name's Timmy, not Jimmy this time. It's just, it's not entertaining. It doesn't keep you interested. It doesn't keep you engaged. And it makes the cities feel so worthless. Like, there was a point last night, I'm 20 hours into this game, and I had forgotten what the capital city was even called for a little bit. It took me a minute to remember what the place was actually called, because it's just not important. It doesn't matter. Every city is the same place in this game. It doesn't make a difference. You have typical capital city that kind of looks like Stormwind from... Stormvale from World of Warcraft, and then you have Desert City number 5, and that's about it. And then you have little checkpoint towns, and that's it. That's all you got. That's all she wrote. And you have a little bit of a coastline that you can run along. There's not much else going on, honestly. And next we're going to talk about the character creator. So they actually did do a really good job here. I think that the character creator, it's really comprehensive. And while I'm not somebody that cares hardly at all about creating really nice looking characters in RPGs, it was easy enough, like there was low difficulty for me to get my character to look the way that I wanted them to. Okay, so keep in mind, I don't really care a whole hell of a lot, but the tools were there that I needed to make my character look the way I wanted. So good job on the character creator at the very least. And the next thing that I want to talk about is criticisms about the story of this game, because I think that this highlights an overarching trend that I might make its own video soon, where a big criticism that I've seen of the story in this game is that it is linear to begin with. I have seen many people give it the thumbs down or a poor review and take points away from the game simply because there's no immense amount of choice making throughout the story of the game. And I think that in recent years, the choice making thing in RPGs has gotten out of control. It is okay to just tell a story through a video game. Not every game needs to have huge amounts of player choice. As a matter of fact, I think that in many of the games where the player choice is a focus, that you get to make choices, I think that all of those choices either A, make no fucking difference at all on the story, so what's the point of even having them? Or I've seen much more commonly, 2, they alter the story in a little bit of a way, and because they had to make so many decent enough branches to the story to make it make sense at the same time, it just bogs down the story, and they're able to provide a lower quality product overall across the board. So I think that the idea that you have to give players tons of choices is just wrong to begin with, and quite frankly, I have an immense gratitude towards Dragon's Dogma 2 for providing a linear on-rail story experience where there's not too much player choice and you just get to experience a story told through the video game. That being said, the story in this game is okay. I don't think there's anything phenomenal about it, at least so far from what I've seen. There's been nothing that I'm traumatized by. There's been nothing that I'm impassioned by. It's just, yeah, there's a story there, all right. It sure is. It's just a nothing burger, really. Like, it's bad, good, nothing in between. It's just neutral. Like, it's fine. Whatever. It's a standard game for a story. I haven't been enlightened by it at all, but it certainly isn't bad. And, you know, I think I am actually going to make a completely separate video about the linearity of stories in video games, because something that I've really been bothered by is that choice is so important in telling a story, but I just don't agree with that sentiment. So anyway, now let's jump to the conclusion of this. I know this is a little bit shorter than I typically go, but I think that overall, I know there were a lot of negatives in there that I really hammered home on, but the gameplay and mechanics are very refreshing compared to what you see in your standard RPG nowadays. And I also like the linear on-rails style of storytelling that this game approaches, because it's like a breath of fresh air compared to every RPG on the market right now. However, the drawbacks are, dude, they're big drawbacks. I don't want to walk another 45 fucking minutes in this game. It's just, it's a slog to walk around. Overall, though, I think the game comes together nicely at a 7.5 out of 10. And the reason that I'm going with a 7.5 out of 10 is because it is still good. But my recommendation here is, it's good, play it, don't buy it unless it's on sale. That's kind of my thoughts about this. Like, if you pay full price for this game, you're not going to think it was worth it. You're just not. It's not a life-changing experience or anything like that. And I think that that's very clear in the game itself. If you just play it, I don't think you'll be super impressed. I don't think you'll be super disappointed. It's just a fun way to pass the time, pretty much. I don't think the story's anything super crazy that you have to play. But I think it's still solid. Like, it's fun. It's good. So it gets a 7.5. But that's all for today. I know this is a little bit different from the content I've been making recently, but I'm working on something really huge as a project, so stay tuned for that. Remember to hit the subscribe button, and always give me the like button I love it when I see the likes come in. So have a nice day. And remember, I love each and every single one of yous. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye, everybody.